everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from ever increasingly clear Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, a little stroll down memory lane, Dan.
You and I are going to discuss what it was like to be a child in Mormonism.
Oh.
Because that experience is actually, as you and I discussed earlier today, that experience is changing.
Apparently, yeah.
Some.
I'm not so intimately
We're not hip to the
involved
new
with
jive.
Mormonism anymore.
What? You're not?
But I know it's been, and when I think about
Weird.
how long it's been, Dan,
It's been a while.
it's been a long time. It's been over 25 years since I went to a family ward.
You and I are
as a member of that.
You
ward,
and I are
you know.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting older, Dan.
Decrepit.
Look at you. You just had your birthday.
I did just have a birthday.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Yesterdamn day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, what is that, 48?
I'm
49?
I'm now 11 years old.
or 3013.
I am 13 years old. It's true.
Well, congratulations for making it another year.
Thank you. Thank you.
And,
I'm much wiser than you. Now, in this 1 month period where I am a year older than you.
You're always, a month and a year older than me.
No, I'm always a month older than you.
Huh? Oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Well, right now you're both.
Right now I'm a full year older than you are.
That's really dumb. All right. Dan.
Yeah.
Time for a little conversation about faces.
About the hirsute nature of our masculine faces.
Indeed.
Even those who haven't been richly blessed with facial hair as you and I have been, still need to do some trimming, some shaving.
Absolutely.
Look, here's the thing. We've used lots of razors. As we said, we're old now. You and I have used
I don't even know how many razors I've gone through.
all the different kinds.
And spent lots and lots of money.
Just so stupid high amounts of dollars.
And as I've recently found out, too much.
Yeah.
Because at least now there's an alternative.
Yeah, you can just go to harrys.com/TGIA. Harrys is HARRYS.com/TGIA and try out. It's the internet's version of razors. I think they're USB connectable.
I don't think that's true.
That's not true at all.
Don't make claims, Dan, that are not true.
It's just a razor. It's just a really excellent razor. 5-blade cartridges means a very smooth shave. Comfortable. Just glides over your face, and then there's no more hair there.
Miraculously. Almost as though it was a miracle.
Okay, so you got the German engineered blades, 5-blade cartridge. You've got an ergonomic handle. You've got the amazing shave gel. You've got the travel cover. All of that you can just get for free from us as a little tip of the hat to you. And then you try it out, and if you like it, you keep getting it sent directly to your house without having to go out there. It just shows up.
Yeah.
And then and then you see if you like it. If you like it, you stick with it. If you don't, you cancel. And it's no out of pocket. You just paid for shipping.
Absolutely.
It didn't cost you anything.
Difficult, hard.
No, it's super easy.
Yeah.
You help us out. So go to harrys.com/TGIA, sign up, try it out. If you don't like it, cancel. No big whoop.
No big whoop. All right. Well.
All right.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah.
Got something for you.
Is it a cheese sandwich?
I'm hungry too, but no, it's not.
Okay.
This is coming from our very lovely federal government, Dan.
It's
my favorite of all the governments.
Lovelier by the day here in these United States.
Oh, just the best. A new policy over there at the Labor Department, right?
Sure. I've heard of that.
The federal contracts, right?
Sure.
When they go out and companies contracted to do work for the government, and so they have to hire people to do that work, right? They are now issuing an exemption, or there is an exemption available, I guess, for or from the non-discrimination laws. Like, like during Obama's presidency, he extended those non-discrimination laws to members of the LGBTQ community.
Right. So he made it was a policy that the U.S. government isn't going to contract with companies that discriminate.
Exactly. Well, there's now a religious exemption available.
Oh, thank God.
So it will be more difficult to sue the government if one of its contractors denies a job to an LGBT person on the basis of the employer's beliefs.
Right. So what, if I'm understanding, I'm trying to track what you're saying. So if I'm understanding, it means that if the U.S. government decides to hire a company to build a road or whatever,
correct,
that company is like, no gays, then but they're like, no gays because Jesus, then they're cool.
Right.
That's okay.
They can't just no gays for no reason.
Right.
Just because they don't like their fashion sense. Right.
Right.
That doesn't work.
They are opposed to fabulousness.
Yeah. That does not work.
That's not okay.
But as long as you hold up your Bible and say, I, as the owner of this company, do not believe in gay people.
Right.
They do not exist.
And if they do, they're gross and yucky.
Right.
And I don't want to talk to them.
Right.
Or hire them.
And that is now.
That's now okay.
A-OK.
Oh, good.
In the USA.
What a great country we live in. They're making it great again, is what they're trying to do.
It's because part of greatness, Dan, is having standards.
Yes.
Right? And having standards about the kinds of people, the high quality, non-icky people that you want to have building your roads.
Well, it's about, you don't want your road built by people who have the wrong kind of sex.
Oh, dear God, no.
That would be
I don't
yucky.
care how good they are at building roads.
Oh, they could be amazing at it.
The best.
They could be just insanely good at it, but if they're having the ugly sex, the sex that gives me the skeevy-deevies.
Yeah.
No way.
No, I do not want. I will not drive on that road.
I would rather have inferior roads.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how every good red-blooded American feels.
Well, I think might be a part of our infrastructure problem, Dan.
Not enough gays.
Not enough gay sex. Building the roads.
Building the roads. What I don't want is to encourage gay sex during the building of the roads,
But what if that's what gets the best roads?
Well, maybe. Little Santorum in the mix.
You were the one who went there.
I did. Hey, it's not just these United States. It's not just our country.
Oh,
that's getting that's really good at
getting great again
at making terrible choices. I don't think so. Okay, so this was definitely not a surprise to me, but I'm doing a follow-up on a story that I did a while back. Do you remember that we did a story about one Jefferson Beauregard Sessions and how the United Methodist Church, like a whole bunch of clergymen and lay people, wrote a letter to his home church to put him on trial.
Get him in line.
Yeah,
with our teachings.
Yeah, exactly. So they were basically saying there's apparently a trial process that can be instituted for any member.
Good.
And because he was doing that whole separating children from their parents and putting them in jail for no good reason thing, they thought, maybe he needs to be disciplined. Maybe he's not living up to the best morals of our church. To the surprise of nobody, that is not going to happen. He is not going to be put on trial for this. All these charges were dismissed in church court. Skunkung. Church court.
Is there? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Because I think that, you know, I think they should have done something. Man, he is a bad man.
Yeah.
Is he the kind of person they want to be a Methodist?
Yeah, he did. He was acting horrifically.
Yeah.
And they all said, hey, you're acting horrifically. And then his hometown people were like, nah, he's all right.
We know him.
The confusing...
Yeah, he's great at a bake sale.
The confusingly named Reverend Deborah Bishop. Reverend Bishop. That's just confusing.
I'm confused by Deborah.
Right? That's a girl name.
Right.
What's happening? Anyway, the Reverend dismissed the complaint, and then that dismissal was concurred with by an actual bishop, David W. Graves. So nothing's going to happen. The grounds for the dismissal apparently are fascinating to me. That he was just following orders from above.
Yeah.
Because there is one guy above him.
Right.
There is a chain of command, and he's
God.
He's one down.
It's God. Right.
Well, okay, so I guess there's two. Because it goes Donald Trump, then below him, God.
Right.
And then Jeff Sessions.
Right.
And the real complaint was that not only was he doing this horrific shit, he was using the Bible to justify it.
Yeah.
Not in a good way. Not in like here are verses that justified ripping kids out of the arms of their mothers, but in a here's a Bible verse that says shut up and do whatever the government tells you to do.
So it wasn't even the one about the bears abducting children.
Bears killed children.
Oh, they killed children.
Yeah, they didn't.
Although, why didn't he do that?
Wouldn't it be great? Yeah, right? Wouldn't it be great if there was a scripture about bears like abducting children and raising them as their own?
I bet it's there.
The Christian Romulus and Remus.
It's in there somewhere.
Sure.
Dan.
It's there. You just got to read between the lines.
Well, cool. It's good that he was able to get a government exemption.
Right?
From his religious thing.
Yeah.
Because the government's all stoked about giving religious exemptions too.
Yeah, see, everybody's exempting everybody. They're all good friends.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Everybody's doing a great job.
Of course that's how it works.
So yes, no liturgical or theological consequences to Beauregard's dipshittery.
Well, all right, Dan.
Yeah.
I have the story of someone who is sick and tired of religion and religious belief and God, Dan.
A story about all of our listeners and us?
Well, somebody who has joined our ranks officially.
Oh, okay.
It is now official, Dan.
Oh, I'm excited.
The newest atheist on the block.
Okay.
Batman! It's official. DC Comics has confirmed that Batman is indeed an atheist.
God sucks.
Yeah. All right. If you are a Batman fan, if you like this kind of thing, I don't know what they are because I'm not that person, but there are spoilers coming up. Okay.
These are for books?
These are
comic
for
books?
Batman number 53.
Okay.
If that is something you are into, you may want to skip ahead a couple minutes. Okay.
Oh, come on. That guy already has the book, right?
I hope so. So apparently in the history of Batman, there has been some hinting as to maybe sort of he's probably of some kind of Christian denomination.
Well,
right?
Yeah, he seems like he's a
either
good Protestant.
Catholic or Protestant. It could be either. He was his cousin, Batwoman, has been portrayed as Jewish.
Oh,
but he never has been.
Oh,
right. There apparently though, after his parents were murdered, he things got a little bit more complicated, and he lost sort of his all his faith.
That's him in the corner. That's him in the spotlight, losing his religion.
Anyway, this all comes out in, like I said, Batman number 53.
Okay.
Wherein he has kind of given up on the whole being Batman, and it's a lot of Bruce Wayne stuff.
Okay.
And he is kind of stuck in some sort of mundane stuff.
He's taking cooking classes.
Well, not far off. He's serving jury duty.
Okay.
And at some point during this whole process, he explains to one of his fellow jury members that he does not believe in God, and they have a little conversation about it. But he does explain that he has a deep, or he explains how his deep belief in Batman has saved him. Right?
Oh,
Batman became a symbol of morality, goodness, and faith in Bruce Wayne's world.
Oh dear. That sounds confusing.
And he says, and this is
possibly psychopathic.
I know. And in his own words, he says, God is above us, and he wears a cape.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, coming out of anybody else, that would be worrying, but not as bad as when it's coming out of the guy who's. That's like positively.
I am my own God.
That is Donald Trumpian.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll save everybody.
Yeah.
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
I'm Jesus.
Yeah, there you go. Kind of is that your Michael Keaton Batman raspy voice?
It's like sort of midway. It's midway between a Keaton and a Bale.
Oh, Bale went really raspy.
Bale went
deep,
super all the way.
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
true.
so I like that halfway point.
Okay. All right. Yeah. This is so I guess he was supposed to be getting married to Catwoman.
Oh.
But she left him at the altar.
Oh.
Which is just really sad.
Just like a cat.
Yeah.
And a woman.
And a bat.
And a bat. There you go. I don't read these comics
I don't either.
like you. I don't understand it. I don't understand the number system because it seems like there's been way more than whatever 53 or whatever you said it was.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know how any of it works.
It's all very strange to me. But and also apparently he's kind of done with this new costume thing. Like he's gone back to like old Batman.
Like the Adam West style.
I don't know if he's gone back that far, but he doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
I just got to say,
supposedly,
ladies and gentlemen listening at home, if you have just left your religion or if you've abandoned your God belief, don't replace it with a messianic complex. That's probably not the direction to go.
Behold me.
Yeah, exactly. He's like halfway to David Koresh. Good Lord.
Maybe find some followers. Why not? I think it would be fun to have followers.
Go start your own religion. I mean, we have patrons and
we have listeners.
Listeners?
Yeah. People that's very different, Dan.
It's very different.
These people do not follow us. Please do not follow us.
Yeah. Do not
that is a mistake.
Do not see us as a messiah in any way, shape, or form.
I don't think anybody ever has.
No.
That would be.
It's very clear that we're not to be worshipped or followed in any good way.
Gross.
Okay. I'm going to take us to your home state.
Oh.
Or one of your sort of home states of Oklahoma.
Yes.
Just 99 miles north of Dallas, Texas. There's a small school in which a trans kid, 12 years old, name of Maddie. She's not safe.
Oh God.
It is not a good thing. Literally, she was in a new school. She had to use the bathroom. Now she's been using the faculty bathroom because she doesn't want to use the boys' room because she's not a boy.
Right.
But she can't use the girls' room because everybody raises fucking hell if somebody goes into a bathroom that doesn't correspond with the bathroom or with the gender that they were assigned at birth. So the compromise has been that she's just been sort of using the faculty restroom.
Right.
Just so that nobody fucking freaks out. Well, she used the girls' bathroom one time, and all hell has broken loose, apparently.
All right.
Including, but not limited to, death threats.
Oh, my God.
So
how old?
Class had to be canceled because a 12-year-old
my God
used a bathroom. Literally, there people. So somebody online made a comment that said, we have open hunting season on them kind. Ain't no bag limit in them either.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So, and we're going to hear more about fun people like freaking out over trans things later. But like, here's the thing. What the fuck is your problem? Like, that it is so scary to you that someone else isn't going along with your idea of what their gender is.
Right.
That you have to, that literally, you feel like it's cool to do a death threat to a 12-year-old. Like, at what point do you ask yourself a question? At what point is like, they're talking, a lot of comments online about if he wants to be female, make him female. A good sharp knife will do the trick.
Oh my God.
Cool. You're talking about assaulting a child.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Way to go. It's a crazy world.
There's probably quite a few. It's what town? Did you catch the town? It's got to be a small little place.
It's a small town in Oklahoma. I don't have the.
It's probably filled with some good religious folk.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing.
Who are threatened. By the idea of, somebody.
Texas is
confident in their sense of self, and
the thing is, Texas has a bathroom law that requires all students to go to the bathroom that corresponds to the gender that was assigned to them at birth. Oklahoma has tried unsuccessfui to pass a similar law, but they don't have that law.
Right.
That law is not in place. But man, suddenly this poor little girl gets accused of like looking over the stall at another kid, which probably did not happen, but that's what they're afraid of. At what? Looking over the stall at someone else pooping? This is what they're afraid will happen. It's just they're not thinking about this at all. They're just feeling about it and freaking out. I don't know. It's very upsetting.
Yeah, it is.
Trans kids all over the country get to sort of pay the price for the idiocy of the conservative Christian mind. And not just the Christians. Let's admit that the conservative Jews and conservative Muslims are equally horrific on trans issues.
Yeah. I wonder what's like little town.
Yeah.
Her parents must be supportive.
Yeah. Yep. She's got supportive parents and then a whole society, a whole community
that's just against her.
That's just needs to be dicks.
I'm amazed. Part of me is just amazed and blown away by the courage of this young person.
Yeah.
Who is I know what these little towns are like.
Yeah, you do.
You don't do this.
It would be terrifying.
Yeah.
But there's something about just, you got to be you.
No, I know. And I think it's amazing and incredibly brave and powerful. And she will, after she gets through all of this, will be that much stronger.
We hope.
But in the meantime,
goddamn.
What a People, what is fucking wrong with people? Like,
well, I mean, this
where
is
do
the
you
thing.
get off?
The whole
you know?
the whole concept of conservatism, and I'm not talking politically, I'm just talking about the concept of being conservative, is preserving a way of thinking and a way of life forever.
Right.
Conserving the current system, my system, the system that I'm comfortable with.
Right. But
And
it's
so
always it's always something that, like, where you're at and what you're comfortable with, you're, you know, go back a generation or two, and grandpappy,
Right.
you know, wonders why you love queer so much.
Right, exactly. You, whatever your sense of like being a good, strong, solid conservative is, there was somebody 4 generations ago who would be horrified by you.
Yeah.
And how liberal you are.
Yeah.
So just notice that. Can anyone just please notice that?
This far and no further.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Oh, no. I mean, Grandpa was racist, so we're not going to go there. But this far and no further.
Right.
Oh, well, Grandpa was homophobic, but now we know because I've got a cool nephew who's gay.
Right.
This far and definitely no further than that. Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's always going to be something. You're always going to be like socially conservative.
Right.
Always loses out.
Yeah.
And then the next round of socially conservative people are certain that they know where the actual line should be drawn.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
Grand jury report is out.
Oh.
On the Pittsburgh diocese abuse
on the
nonsense.
it's the entire state of Pennsylvania, almost all of the dioceses.
Oh, that's right. And then, but this one is looking specifically at Pittsburgh diocese.
Okay.
And apparently, there were a number of priests who were legitimately, truly running a child porn ring amongst themselves.
Everybody raise your hand if you're shocked. Everybody.
I find it shocking. I mean, I know that, like, unfortunately these things exist out in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And that, child porn can be found. But for a group of priests to be in cahoots with each other to the point that they were, luring the young men in, the teenagers in, getting them to remove their clothes, pose them, take Polaroids, while all of them were in the room, right?
Oh my God.
The priests.
All of the priests or all of the victims?
All of the priests.
Okay.
So it was these 4, let's see, Reverends Francis Pucci, Richard Zula, Francis Luddy, and there was one more, George Zerus.
Don't name your kids Francis. That doesn't work out well.
Okay. There's this one story, one man who's come forward to tell his story of being abused. Mm-hmm. Recounts the story of being lured into this room. Let's see. The priest told George, that's the man's name, George Munnell. No, wait, took him to a rectory in Munnell. We'll just call him George.
That's fine. Yeah.
And to get onto a bed, remove his shirt, and strike a pose like Jesus on the cross. They then instructed him to strip off his pants and underwear. And they began taking pictures of him with a Polaroid camera. The priests were giggling.
Oh, of course they
which
were.
is a great, disgusting detail.
Oh my God.
And then added the photos of George to a collection of photos of other teen boys. These men and other priests were part of a ring of predatory priests who raped children, shared intelligence on potential victims, and manufactured child pornography. They would actually mark the boys who they had successfully sort of raped.
Yeah.
They would give them special crosses that would identify them for the other priests in the circle.
Oh my God.
So they would know that was an easy mark.
A groomed child.
A groomed child.
Oh my God. That's
This is really disgusting. Like raise your hand if you're not surprised. I'm surprised by this level of coordination.
Yeah.
And how it was a society of priests, essentially, who were running this.
Yeah. And this wasn't sort of done in the privacy of the chambers of one of the priests. This
right.
was something,
and he kept all these,
and he was quiet and ashamed, and he, whatever.
And maybe at some point showed somebody who was like-minded some photos. No,
you're right. It's the giggling that like really puts it over the edge. This is like, no, it's the rape that puts it over the edge. But the giggling is like the fact that they're getting away with it, that they feel emboldened to do this. I mean, him and Meta actually on the Friendly Atheist blog did a roundup of sort of the worst infractions they read the whole 1,000-page or whatever thing, and you probably don't want to read it. It's just horrific. It's just person after person after person doing these. I mean, priest, reverend after reverend after reverend, doing these unholy things. Fuck all of the like InfoWars people who are talking about the Democrats running child pornography rings and trafficking in children.
Right.
We know where it's happening, and it ain't fucking Democrats. It's like,
well, I'm sure some Democrats have done stuff like this.
Sure, I mean, some of these priests might be Democrats, but that's not the point.
Right.
The point is, it's the clergy.
Right. And these are real, like, now substantiated stories, and stories that are like correlated with other people who've come forward. But nonetheless, just to kind of take the whole thing all the way home, this Zerwas character, one of the priests, was reported to then Bishop Anthony J. Bevilacqua, who refrained from taking action. But then when another abuse complaint came in a year later, Zerwas was sent off for an evaluation, but he was still allowed to serve at other parishes in the state until 1994, when he was placed on leave for personal reasons, right? Zerwas was returned to active ministry by Bevilacqua's successor, Bishop Donald Rural, who is now a cardinal in Washington.
Of course.
But Zerwas was taken out of active ministry after another victim told the diocese that Zerwas had performed oral sex on him when he was 15. Zerwas was placed on leave again. He then moved to Florida and then fled to Cuba. In the spring of 2001 in Havana, he was found strangled at the age of 47. So he continued to be clearly up to no good, and somebody took care of him.
My God.
But again, it's the higher ups that is what's so mind-boggling to me, that they wouldn't do anything to really fix this situation. Things were being reported to them time and time again, over and over, right? It's not like one priest had some allegations against him and the bishop's just like, well, I just don't know what to do about this, right? Yeah. It's, this guy has allegations. He has additional allegations. He has even more allegations. All the while, there are these other guys who have people coming forward on. Yeah. And one person sitting there with all this information knows he's got bad actors out there in his organization and does nothing except the occasional, well, let's take you out of service for a minute, right? Yeah. Or let's put you over here. Never warning the communities. No. Never calling the cops. Right. Right.
He basically has a lion that's hurting people, and his solution is, well, let's put them among a different group of people.
Right.
There's a, you know what I mean? Like,
it's just,
and we know that this is happening.
Which an organization will take to protect itself.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so, yeah. I mean, yeah, I was reading a thing about it, and there was a point. There was one specific incident where that on the Friendly Atheist, one of the things that they pointed out was one of the incidents. A letter was sent out that was like, by a bishop that was like, "I'm sorry, I feel your pain. I know how horrible this must be for you." That was to the priest, not to the victim.
God.
So yeah, I mean,
right.
Wow.
No, of course.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Well, I'm gonna close up shop with the LDS Church, the church of our upbringing, which we reported back in November of 2015. They launched a really cute little initiative because they had been on the path of sort of more and more acceptance of LGBTQ people.
Yeah.
Definitely not actual acceptance, but like it was looking like it was starting to get, like it was getting, like they kept revising their view so that it was like,
sure,
hate the sinner but not the sin, but still revile the, but like eventually it was like, well, you can be a good Mormon and be gay, but you know, here are the rules for that. And it just seemed like it was getting better. And then they dropped the bomb, which is something that's now known as the November policy, which basically said that same-sex couples raising children were apostates.
Right.
And that the children couldn't even get baptized until they were of legally adults.
And they had to denounce.
And then they had to denounce their gay parents'
oh my God.
lifestyle in order to become members of the church. It was a bombshell. It undid all of the goodwill that the church had been sort of slowly building with the gay community.
Right.
It was a nightmare. And it was such a big deal that like the church basically didn't say anything for the longest time about homosexuality or whatever because they realized that they had stepped in it.
Right.
But it seemed kind of like maybe they were going to just sort of, like I got the sense that they were backing off of that policy because it was so clear how not just like people outside of the church, but people inside the church felt that it was evil. I mean, I knew people that I knew in the Mormon church on Facebook were denouncing it as evil. Like,
right.
And not, you know, they're kind of liberal for Mormons, but they're conservative people. I don't know. Anyway, lots of people were horrified by this thing.
Right.
Well, the church sort of hasn't said anything about it for, you know, a year and a half or 2 years or whatever. And
right.
Well, now so people were kind of assuming that it might fall away.
Oh no.
Well, they've doubled down.
Shut the fuck up.
It has now shown up in the manual that they hand out to all of their missionaries.
Oh.
As a policy.
Oh boy.
The most recent version of Preach My Gospel. Do you remember Preach My Gospel? Was that a thing that you got?
Maybe.
That's the name of the manual that they give to all of the missionaries. Right now there are 70,000 LDS missionaries worldwide.
Yeah. Probably the thing we called the White Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that basically every missionary, like, they get all of their information from.
Right.
So the church has definitely... This is an in-place policy. It is firm and decided, and they're horrible, horrible people.
They're just fools.
Yeah.
They're just fools. The leadership is a mess.
Yep.
Good.
The local NPR affiliate did a story on it and got a quote from someone who's gay but attending Brigham Young University, and so he said basically what he said was, quote, "If you want to be gay and Mormon, okay, but you have to be Mormon and you can't really be gay." Which is kind of the policy.
Right. Right. Good. I'm glad they're doubling down.
Yeah.
Once again, I on sort of what would be kind of just good for a lot of people who, you know, are still inside the church, and people who aren't going to be leaving the church. If the church got a softer stance on LGBT issues, oh, that would be a good thing, I suppose. But the best thing, the absolute best thing long term for everyone, is that the church doubles down on these idiotic policies.
On the hate. So that
it gets more people out.
So that more people can get out. So that more gay people who were thinking, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can be gay in the Mormon church. Yep. Maybe it'll work. Oh, no, they really genuinely hate me.
Right. And so hopefully they just get themselves out.
Right. And maybe take some family members with them.
Take some family members. You know, you have your non-believers sitting there in pews every Sunday, stuck. And we need more of them out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And this kind of stuff, I hope, makes it easier for them to finally take those steps.
Yes, indeed.
Good Lord. Good.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have anything you'd like to say about these stories or anything else, you can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIA Atheist, and click that like button.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, Dan.
Skuntadun.
But we'll let you in.
We will.
Dan!
Yes, sir.
Pat Robertson, Dan?
We're having a patty break. We
used to do it every week.
Yeah, we used to do it. He used to say something nutball every other day. Here's the thing. He is terrified.
He is, Dan.
Something so scary is happening in the world, and he will not abide it.
Yeah, so let's have a listen.
Yeah.
Well, this next story should shock the daylights out of you, and you ought to do something about it. It's an outrage. Little teeny children, as young as 2 years old, being exposed to cross-dressers, homosexuals who dress up as women and are called so-called drag queen. You say, well, that's something maybe for some weird television show or something, but no, it's from us, it's a few miles away from this place where I'm sitting right now in this studio. There's a library where they're hosting these events where men are dressed as women, and they've got all kinds of makeup on, and they're men acting like women. And they used to, out in San Francisco, used to call them he-she's. And they're reading books to children. And it's called the Drag Queen Story Hour. Well, you'd better get outraged about this, and many people are, but library officials sat at a recent event in Virginia and said it fits their city's vision of inclusion and diversity. Give me a break.
Give him a break, Dan.
You know, he does need a break.
It's called death, Dan.
It's called look at what you're wearing. You're the oldest man alive. He's in a terrible jacket and tie. And the shirt's even bad. Anyway, listen. Little teeny children.
Some as young as 12 years old.
It's 2 years old.
Oh, it's 2 years old?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were 12. Okay.
No. Little teeny children.
Little teeny, truly teeny.
Are being exposed to someone reading them a story, Frank.
Who's in makeup.
Who's in all sorts of makeup. They're dressed up in a fun way, Frank.
Oh my God. It sounds absolutely delightful. I love the idea of drag queens just being...
Do you mean drag queens?
Drag queens.
Drag queens. You know.
They go like, this is wonderful outreach. This is wonderful. It's adorable. I bet it is the sweetest thing you've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
right.
Come on, so cute.
And these kids.
Oh, these poor children are being assaulted by story time.
Yeah, I'm sure against their will.
Yeah. Oh,
against their parents' will.
It's just a nightmare.
Whoever's showing up to drag queen story time.
They're kidnapping children and putting them and making them listen to books. Oh, good Lord! It's so baffling to me how terrified these people get.
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever been to any kind of drag event, especially something like this, like if you, like, you know, a drag event in a bar where it's like a lip sync contest or you know, whatever, that's one thing. But this is just going to be some delightful little, you know, person dressed outlandishly.
Yes. It is a spectacle.
It is theatrical.
Indeed. Yeah.
And they're going to read, and hopefully they're fun at reading, and they're just going to have a great time.
Right.
And all the kids are going to see, what they're going to see is basically similar to the experience of, you know, going to freaking Disneyland or something.
Right.
They see a person in a costume.
Right.
They're not, you know, it's
yeah, okay. The worst that's going to happen is they're going to maybe get some glitter on them.
Yeah, they may get
some boa feathers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
that's the worst.
That's worst case scenario. Actually, worst case scenario is they get the one drag queen who's terrible at reading stories.
Oh,
who's like great at contouring, bad at stories.
She looked great while just sucking it up.
Oh God, she just wasn't very.
The little cow. That was the worst little caterpillar I've ever heard.
Just didn't really get the character at all.
No. That he's eating. Put yourself in his place. I can't remember the story of the little caterpillar.
I have no idea.
I'm sure it eats some leaves though.
Yeah.
And then it makes a cocoon.
Yeah, that's probably not. That's probably not a good drag story.
Well, then it emerges and is fabulous.
Oh, well, there's that. That's a good point. All right, there you go. You've done it. All right, we had some folks write into us. Dale wrote in, you and I had talked about how there should be some sort of service for gay folk to find gay-friendly businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Dale said, good morning. I just thought I would point out that Yelp is working on an initiative to support and promote businesses that are inclusive. It is their, quote, open to all program, which businesses that join get a special marker on their Yelp page.
Absolutely fantastic.
It's happening.
My opinion, my rather low opinion of Yelp, just moved up a notch.
I use Yelp.
A little bit.
I find it useful.
It's not a useless thing.
Yeah.
I just don't have much of an opinion.
You're just grumpy because you work in the restaurant industry and you got some bad reviews or something.
No. It's a cesspool.
You just got to know how to read.
TripAdvisor is not a cesspool. Psh. Right?
It's all the same.
It's not.
Here we go. Andrew also wrote into us. We had some words about. We had a caller call in. She was displeased with our assessment of the American South. You'll recall.
But that did happen.
And then we just doubled down like the dicks that we are. Sure. So Andrew wrote in to say, I listened to episode 349 and felt the need to chime in regarding Alabama. I would not be too surprised to hear that you guys did not find too many redeeming qualities about Alabama if you visited Montgomery in lieu of the undeniably superior city of Birmingham.
I'm sure it's great.
Love the show. Keep up the good. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It's probably Birmingham.
I don't know. Does it matter?
Does it matter?
Does anyone really care? Except for the people who live in that shithole.
Well, okay, great. Good job, Birmingham, Alabama, as opposed to Montgomery. I don't think we did make it to Birmingham, did we?
No, I don't think we did.
We you have to pick and choose. Anyway, maybe Birmingham is the shining city on the hill that Montgomery failed to be. We'll see. I don't know.
It's all very possible.
We also had
we had another person
on the same subject.
Yes,
a caller
this time.
Yeah,
and so and this guy's over in Texas. So let's hear what he has to say.
All right.
Hey, Frank and Dan. This is Chance. I've called in before. And I wanted to comment on the South is a shithole thing. And I got to say, I agree with you. I understand the other caller meant well, and you know, she had point, but I live in Texas, and I can't go into any store just about without, you know, shitty country music talking about how cool God is. And every time I walk my dog, I see at least, I want to say 3 or 4 Confederate flags and 1 Confederate battle flag. We have issues here. And should I get the opportunity one day, I'd love to move somewhere nicer and, you know, more expensive. Hell, I'd go to Austin here in Texas. It's supposed to be pretty cool, but I'd chime in, give my opinion. Thanks. Love the show.
Well, thanks, Chance.
Austin is pretty cool.
Yeah. I
had a good time in Austin. But yeah, I mean, look, the point, there are great people in the South.
Yes. There can be. There are
lots of really cool people in the South. But unfortunately, yeah, when you live there or when you visit there, you're subjected to that horrible country music Christian crap.
Right.
Now, not all country music is horrible, just most of it. And not
just all of it.
Just the vast, vast majority of it. Oh my God. Okay, we're just alienating people.
We need to move on.
We do need to move on. But thanks for.
But yeah, I mean, we've said our piece. On
we
this
have.
Thing. Yeah.
We have.
All right.
Do we have some folks we need to thank?
We do have people to thank, Dan.
Okay.
We have a new venerable listener.
Okay.
By the name of Stephanie.
Stephanie, blessings be upon her.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. We need to thank our Lord and Savior Emeritus, Angela.
Yes, indeed.
Peace be upon you.
Blessings and
then, of course, we have our top donor, our Lord and Savior,
the one and only
Jenny.
Still needs work.
It still needs a little bit of work, but it's a work in progress, Jenny. Thank you very much for all of your support, and thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon.
Yes.
If you'd like to join them, you can go to our website, www.thankgodimatheist.com, and click on that support tab.
Yeah.
That'll take you over to Patreon, where you can select any number of levels at which to support us.
Yeah,
there
you choose how much. Yeah, exactly.
And it's fun, and it's exciting. And the campaign just keeps plugging along, and so if you'd like to join it, please feel free to do so.
Yes. Amen.
Dan.
The primary children sang as they walked. Do you remember primary? Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you grew up Mormon,
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about when I just say the word primary.
Yes.
It means something to the rest of the world, but it means something very specific to Mormons.
Yes.
And that is?
Children's Sunday
torture. Oh, Sunday school. That's right.
Yeah. It was just fun.
It was just what you did when you were a kid in Mormonism.
Yeah.
During part of the 3 fucking hours of church that they forced us through.
Right. Well, yeah, because the kids, you would have sort of your primary general session.
Right.
Right. Where all the kids were all together singing songs, hearing little lessons and talks and blah, blah, blahs. And then
from a bunch of poor, sad adults who had been called by their church to deal with this mess of childhood energy.
Some people, I think, love working in the primary.
That's true.
and you know, at least there's like music and singing and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we our primary, we got stuck in the chapel. Did you have to do Sunday school in the chapel?
No.
There were too many of us for the primary room.
Oh, wow.
And so they stuck us in the chapel where we had to be reverent.
Mormons be procreating.
Oh,
let me tell
God.
you. So there's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
You think everybody thinks of the Catholics as being the ones with all the children because they have a prohibition on birth control.
Yeah.
But, those Mormons will give you a run for your money.
With birth control.
They're allowed to have birth control. They just don't.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do today was you and me just take a little trip down memory lane and talk about the experience of growing up in the Mormon church. Because one of my memories of church, my biggest memory of church was that it was incumbent on me as a young child with ADHD in Mormonism to manipulate all of the adults around me into making it less terrible. I had to make sure that we were going to sing the fun songs, and I had to make sure that we were going to like talk about things that weren't insanely boring, because I had hours to fill.
3 hours every Sunday.
And it was just a fucking nightmare. So I remember literally I remember strategies that I used as a child to when everything was getting boring. I don't think this was conscious, but I know that I started to yell about, let's talk about this other thing or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. You were that kid.
Oh my God. Well, I had to be.
Oh my God. I hated you. I was sitting there very quietly.
Yeah.
Not understanding why.
Following all the rules.
You could not just sit still.
That's true.
That Danny Beecher. Ugh. Did you ever go by Danny?
No.
No?
No, I did not.
Huh.
Only 2 people in my life called me Danny, really.
Really?
Parents of my friends' parents used to call me Danny.
Danny. Hey, Danny.
But nobody else did.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
So Dan, you were just Dan.
Were you were Frankie though?
I was.
Little Frankie.
Yeah. For a minute. And then in school, we stopped that.
Yeah.
But initially. But anyway, that's beside the point.
What do you remember about church? What jumps to your mind when you think about being a child in church?
I remember just mad amounts of just fucking running around. And we were in an old chapel.
Yeah.
And it was a cool old chapel. They don't make them like that anymore.
No, now they're all standardized. All of the Mormon ward houses are these weird, bizarre labyrinths.
They work on either a horseshoe or a complete circle.
Right.
Layout.
Kind of a racetrack of classrooms around the chapel space on one side and the what ends up being the basketball gym on the other side. Or the
cultural hall.
They call it the cultural hall. But since Mormons don't have culture,
it's really just about basketball.
It's just basketball.
Yeah.
/
carpeted basketball court.
Overflow. Some of them were carpeted. Yeah. That's true. They had this little very tight pile. You can still bounce a ball.
Yeah.
But it's weird.
Yeah. Anyway. I remember, I remember sitting in that chapel a lot, but, I remember that it was a lot of fun, the rest of it.
Huh.
I remember really liking...
Not sacrament meeting, which
not
is...
sacrament. Sacrament meeting was awful.
That's the main meeting where all of everybody is adults and children all in one room in that chapel.
Yeah. Wretched, horrible boredom.
Hearing...
Just the worst.
A talk given by an unwilling participant.
Yes. Who's not trained in public speaking at all.
Just a member of the congregation.
Oh, my God. The worst. Given a topic.
Who has been assigned a topic, and now it's even worse because they're assigned... they don't make up their own talk. They're sort of given these guidelines.
What?
And they just have to sort of go through the guidelines and give the talk. It probably makes it better for a lot of these people because they don't want to be creative or whatever. But Man.
Oh my God.
The boredom factor.
That's even worse.
Is even worse now.
Oh, that sounds awful. Anyway, but no, we would like, break for primary and whatnot. Yeah. And it was fun. We would go, we'd sing songs, and there was always like, I feel like there were always like crafts and whatnot. When you were a little bit on the younger side, you'd make things in your little breakaway classes.
Lots of object lessons.
I remember being a seagull in the primary little pageant thing that we would do, right? And I was dressed as a seagull, and I had to rush up to the front and eat one of the crickets.
Oh my God.
There was a big panel that had like crops drawn on it, and there were all these black jelly beans that were attached to it.
Ew.
And we had to run up and get it. Well, there was some piggy little kid who ate more than his fair share of the crickets, and I didn't get a fucking cricket.
Oh, Frankie didn't get his black jelly bean?
I was beside myself.
This isn't fair because
I'm a seagull and I'm supposed to eat crickets. I mean, yes.
Let me tell you something. Food at Mormon church is like gold because
good Lord, it takes so long.
You're starving by the time you're done with Mormon church.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have vending machines
right
at this point.
And once a month there was the extra torture of fast and testimony meeting, which meant that you had to not eat till after church. You couldn't eat anything that day. No breakfast.
Right.
You had to eat. You had to wait until after. And boy, that was just. Whew,
yep.
That was the worst.
But no, like there were always like activities during the week, and I remember the Pinewood Derby and the blue and gold ball for the Cub Scouts.
That's true. We had
just tons of shit.
Lots
always going on.
During midweek activities, there were when you got a little older, there were dances for the youth.
I really remember that crazy Halloween party that we would have every year. There was like they would turn the Relief Society room into a spook alley.
Oh yes,
and
this kind of thing. Sure,
and I remember bobbing for apples. If you can fucking believe that.
It does feel
it was the 80s, and we were still bobbing for apples.
It feels impossibly Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah,
when I look back on it, I'm like, there's this whole like corn-fed.
Oh yeah. The kids
Rogers and Hammerstein sort of sensibility about the whole thing.
The kids getting caught for smoking behind the janitor's thing out in the parking lot, the facilities like shed thing, right?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
My brother was one of the kids.
I remember,
and it was just like scandal,
right? I remember. So once I got to be around like 11 or 12, I started skipping out on church quite a bit with various friends. Which is not done much in LDS Church. There's always someone keeping an eye, and that someone can report back to your parents. So like, you're always under surveillance,
right?
But my parents were cool. They didn't really care that much. They wanted us to go, but I remember it's funny. I didn't smoke cigarettes because I wouldn't have known how to even get them, and B, I didn't want to. But I remember actually like. Feeling so super rebellious because my friend and I realized that if you lit a cinnamon stick, it kind of looked like you were smoking a cigarette.
Oh, that's so dumb.
So we smoked cinnamon.
I'm sure that was great for...
We were rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure I have all kinds of cancer now.
Cinnamon cancer.
Cinnamon cancer. Oh, man.
Oh, good Lord. No, like...
There were fun things.
And, with scouts, there was always, camping and...
And you were you were a Mormon, you were
scoutmaster. So even when I was like a little kid, I would get taken on the
scouting thing,
the scouting things, and
church for me. I do want to talk about sacrament meeting, which is the sort of the big meeting, and the fact that for me it was literally it's. And if you go to a Mormon church, you can watch this happen in the wild. It still happens. It is just an exercise in parents And this bears out when, like, if you've ever had to give a talk in a Mormon church and you're looking down at the congregation, no eyes are on you.
The old people are looking at you.
It's the worst. There's no one paying.
There's smiling elderly people who are looking at you.
There's like 6 people paying any attention to you at all at any given time. And 150 people desperately trying to distract their children. And it's noisy. Like in a Mormon family church, it is noise. It is there's this constant hum of children and babies and crying and parents shushing and like trying to provide activities for their kids because, oh my God, please shut up.
Right.
And they've got 12 of these children. So then they enlist the older ones to try and like pacify the younger ones. It is a nightmare for everyone.
Ours, I have to say, I saw some video taken inside a Utah ward, and ours were never that bad.
Oh no, Utah is the worst.
Ours were never that bad.
Oh, it's the worst.
There was at least an effort to try to be quiet. And I just felt like watching it, it was just like everybody's just resigned to the fact that their kids are going to be making noise. Oh yeah. And they're trying to, they act like they're trying to keep them quiet. But to keep them quiet, you take them out.
Yeah, there's a level of acceptance of noise. Like, so if a baby starts screaming, a parent will stand up and walk out with that baby.
Right.
But short of that, there is this horrific hum that is just, it is, I mean, especially for someone like me with ADHD. Like, even as an adult now, I cannot go into those meetings because it's just so mind-bendingly, like, awful.
Right.
So, yeah, as a kid, all I remember is, like, my dad handing me his little pad of paper and a pen so that we could play Hangman or, you know, one of the dot games or something like that.
No, we would destroy the program, the bulletin.
Yes, that's right. Because everyone would get a weekly piece of paper that had like sort of what hymns you were going to sing on it and who was giving the talks and whatever.
Well, and also all the announcements about what's coming up this week, what activities people need to be getting ready for. And that's kind of the point, is that like the thing that I remember there always being stuff to do. Right. That essentially the church occupied your time with activities,
right?
With fun stuff.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, aside from the horror that was church on Sunday,
right?
Especially that sacrament meeting.
Sure.
The rest of it wasn't so bad. You know, there were other horrors. Home teaching was a horror. Getting dragged to go home teaching when I was like 12 with my dad.
Or having some member of the ward having to come over every month and
be the home teacher.
Be your and to teach your family a lesson.
We'd all gather around.
that we always heard in church anyway. It was just like that was just so
it was the message in the ensign.
Yeah.
It was just the first presidency message
from the magazine that everybody was supposed to get.
Ugh.
Let me tell you something. But you're right. Like one of my first times acting was in a church play.
Right.
I was in a play of The Music Man, done by our stake. So that's a series of that's a group of wards,
congregations. Yeah.
And we did that, and that was great. And I remember all kinds of big parties and potlucks and you know, just ward activities. I remember one activity where somebody had arranged, I don't know how this could possibly be okay, but somebody had arranged, this was at Sugar House Park here in Salt Lake City. And there was this one pavilion that you could reserve that had, you know, it had plenty of tables for everybody under the pavilion. And then it had this sort of amphitheater thing, like a half round amphitheater with a sunken in, and it was all made of concrete.
Okay.
Little area. And somehow somebody had arranged for these barrels of fish, like water and fish. They poured it into this thing, and we all caught these big old trout by hand.
No.
What? Everybody take off your shoes and socks, and all the kids got to wade into this thing and grab a fish. What the fuck was that?
So unacceptable.
So weird. So fucking weird. Also,
did somebody work for like the Department of
They must
Game and
have.
Fish
They
or
must
whatever?
have done. I don't know how that ended up happening. I don't remember anything about it except like I was like, Dad, look, I caught a fish. Which, by the way, only time I've actually caught a fish. Like I've been fishing a
with
number
your
of times.
hands.
Yeah, barehanded.
In a concrete sort of concave area.
Yeah,
Where that kind of held the fish captive for a minute.
Everybody just go in and get a fish. Hooray! And then, like as a parent, what do you do when a kid comes back to you and like, look at my fish?
They had stocked all the lakes, and they didn't know what to do with the leftover fish.
They had just barrels of them.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing.
I took it home and ate it. Anyway,
But apparently none of this exists anymore, Dan.
yeah, I mean,
The church has been stripping
here's the thing.
itself of all of
This church wants to be a worldwide, and is a worldwide church now.
ish.
I mean, you know,
They have representation all over the place. In some amount.
some places greater than others, but they are. But let me tell you something. Leave It to Beaver style Utah culture
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily transport as well.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't necessarily make it out. You know, the people in Uganda are not going to be like, cool, let's do
a red show.
a road show. Right, exactly. Let's put on a pun-filled night of multiple 15-minute awful theater.
Right. And then pick it all up and go to that ward house over there
And do the same
and do it
thing.
again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to translate in in other cultures.
Right.
Do that in Japan.
But they don't do the road show anymore.
They don't do it all.
I mean, that was already ending when we were kids.
When you take the culture out of the cult, what do you have left? I guess that's just. I think it's a sign of it's growing up. Our quaint little church is growing up.
I don't know, Dan. I think that's the only thing that kept a lot of people around. It was the only thing that made it palatable, because it's a pretty icky. If it's just the doctrine,
the theology,
yeah,
it's pretty gross.
the rules upon rules upon rules, and give us all your money.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not great.
it ain't great, and that's not going to hold on to people.
I don't know. I mean,
like,
they're good
your
at
kids
shaming
growing up
people.
with scouting, and your kids growing up with lots of activities and mixers and whatnot. Like,
But also, it does dominate your whole fucking life. And if you want to have a life and a religion, maybe that, but you don't want fish at the park isn't your cup of tea.
well, I mean, that's the problem with that very specific culture. Like, you called it Leave It to Beaver culture, and that's a good shorthand for it. Right?
American white monoculture.
Yeah. Like, if that works for you and you fit into that, then it was a blast.
Oh, yeah. You were having a great time.
The problem is, not everybody,
Yeah.
not everybody's that white.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Because that was some pretty white shit.
Mormonism is professionally white. You may think you're white. You're not white till you're Mormon white. It is that's advanced level shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, I mean, I think they're losing a lot by stripping away all this stuff, and now that they've divorced themselves from the Boy Scouts, that the boys always got a better experience than the girls, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's just going to get worse. Everything's going to get worse. Maybe everybody will now. They're striving for equality of shitty experience.
Then everybody gets a shitty experience.
Boom, baby. Yeah. They've solved it.
Anyway, we've rambled.
We have rambled. You know what? Tell us about your childhood in your awful church.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was different, but also the same. Who knows? Write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click that like button.
And while you're on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we'll let you in. Also...
we forgot to mention earlier.
Yeah, there's the subreddit. Mm-hmm. You can go to reddit.com/r/TGIAtheist and find a growing community over there.
Yeah, hey, speaking of the internet, thanks so much to Mackenzie for all of her hard work on our Facebook page, and thanks to Sarah, Danny, and Amy for their work in the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music, and to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Bye-bye.